Hey guys, it's Stardust D87 here. I'm just bringing you a quick deck update. I have recently changed my deck back to something similar than what I did run at Nationals. However, I have given it like the odd change, and I'm gonna basically just do this video quickly just to show you a quick update on the deck, and then I'll show you what I've changed. You may have seen the original deck profile. If you have, then you probably will notice the changes, because there aren't really that many changes in the deck. So yeah, I'll start off. First of all, go across the gap. To be honest, it's the only decent / good starter that they've got at the moment, Pale Moon. I do like her a lot, but however, when set 9 comes out, we get Smiling Presenter, which I'm probably going to put in place of Curl Across the Gap, even though the loop that she's got is pretty fun. To trigger lineup, you've got 8 crits. The reason I've gone for the 8 crits this time is due to the deck being aggressive. The deck goes with basically very strong on side columns, therefore what I've decided is I've gone with the 8 crits. It has paid off quite a bit recently from what I've been testing it, compared to 6 draw, 6 crit. So I've just decided basically to try and go for more damage based now. So at the moment, yeah, it seems to be working. I'm pretty happy with it. I just want the set 9 stuff now, if anything. Then you've got the 4 heals. Most people tend to know those nowadays. Here's something that people might find a little bit weird. I used 3 Rainbow Magicians and 1 Flyer. Reason being is because that's only a 4k, and that's a 5k. So I do like having just that one, just so that I've got the 5k rather than the 4k. Especially if you're up against 11k Vanguards, it's nice to have that at the moment. But still, that guy's a pretty good card, the Rainbow Magicians, so I do like using it as much as I can. I just feel like 4 would be too much. Okay, so on to the grade 1s. You've got 4 Turquoise. She's obviously the main card that I like in the deck. I mean, once you've got Crimson to Soul, she becomes 9k during your turn. Very strong for you, especially when you have Crimson or Midnight Invader as your rear guard getting boosted by this. Easily becomes 20 to 1k columns, so it's really nice. 4 perfect guards. I felt when I was using 3 that I was very exposed as such to the strong hitters, so I thought I'd put it in the 4th back again, and since then I've been pretty happy having 4 back in the deck, so it means I get the cards more often, which is nice. But yeah, that seems to be working with it nicely. Back to 3 Skull Jugglers, simply because Skull Juggler in my opinion is a good starter for grade 1. After that it just becomes an okay card, but it's nice to open with it. And then the last card is 3 Purple Trapezists. It's a good grade 1, very good grade 1. This basically it allows me to set up my soul and my field in any way I want, because it's not limited to anything except for itself. But I wouldn't call another one of itself out, to be honest, unless I had Luquier and I wanted to have the unlimited loop, but of course you can't do that. But I only run 3 because 4 is too much. You got to remember that, you know, you need some power, and you don't want 4 of these clogging your deck when you've got other cards you want to call out instead as your grade 1s. Grade 2, the most obvious card of the lot perhaps is Crimson Beast Tamer. As soon as you get into the soul, deck becomes live straight away, and there's so many ways now for it to get into the soul. If you're lucky enough to actually get the Skull Juggler effect to hit this into the soul, it's much better, but there are other ways where you can guarantee it as well. So, but if you, like I said, once this one's in the soul, you are basically started. Just make sure that you do not call it out once it's in the soul, because if you do that, you will lose a lot. And to be honest, once you've taken that out of the soul, if you lose that to opponents attacking it and you've got no other, you're just going to end up destroying yourself and getting beaten bad. That's the way I've seen it. 4 10k vanillas. Don't know why people don't play 4. 10k is nice. You know, the thing is with Pale Moon, there's not a lot of good grade 2s. In my opinion, there's not a lot of grade 2s, and it's a shame in set 9 we're not even getting a single new one. But yeah, for now, this is the sort of thing I'm going to stick with because I do like this 10k. I mean, have that with turquoise behind it against cross rides and get a trigger, and it's going to be 24k, which is pretty good. It means 15k guard as long as you don't hit a trigger for damage, which I like. The other change I've done is I've added a third Dancing Princess in. Dancing Princess, I like the effect a lot because it means you get your setup very early. So if you hit a heal trigger, which this deck seems to do quite a bit, it's good because you can just use your counter blast, put anything to the soul, and drive check that heal trigger, and it's basically just reset yourself back up. So it is nice to have Dancing Princess at 3 now. It gives me her in the hand a lot more often. It is nice when you open with Cerberus and a Tamer with one of these in your hand, because I don't know if you've seen my video against the Gold Paladin build. One of my friends was playing Gold Paladins. Game 2 and Game 3 I had that and that in the hand when I went into a grade 2, and it's really good to have that because it means then that becomes 11k. That becomes your Vanguard, so your opponent needs 10k to hit it, which is not going to be as easy as hitting these two because they're only 8ks, and then you can put a turquoise into the soul for later on. So I do like the Dancing Princess a lot. And another thing about it as well is you can use the Dancing Princess effect to send another Crimson if you want to the soul, then simply use a Trapezist to send this back into the soul and bring out the Crimson you just put in there. So in effect, you're counter blasting one to get yourself a good grade 2 out. And finally, this is simply based on my choice, and it is a tech card. It's one Fire Breeze carry. Fire Breeze carry did really well for me at Nationals. Anything that was 8k. So for instance, all the Interceptors and the Silent Tom, they were all basically taken out quite easily. So that with a turquoise behind it, 18k. Perfect. The thing is then, they'll either lose 15k of guard, or they will lose a decent monster and, oh sorry, a decent unit, and I've got the ability to counter blast 2 to draw. So it does give me a nice little plus, that does. And then grade 3s, everyone knows that I use these now, everybody seems to hate me for these. Midnight Invader. Midnight Invader gives you the chance to do 21k columns. I ran it at Nationals because of Duke mainly, and Tsukiyomi, because they were like 11k Vanguards, so I needed to hit 21k, and the reason I chose this deck was mainly because I could hit 21k with a simple setup. But I've had to admit, ever since I saw these guys in the anime, the Pale Moon, I've always loved them, but when I saw the set 7 stuff, I just knew this would be the right build for Nationals, and I did a lot better than I imagined. But yeah, this card against cross rides, all you need to put behind this is something that's 6k or more, and the Pale Moon have got every grade 1 at 6k or above, so as long as you hit a trigger you can still make the 23k column. So that Crimson Beast Tamer will need 7k or above, so it'll be Skull Juggler by the looks of it, but yeah, you can still, with this guy you can use any grade 1 and it can become 23k with a trigger, so I will always bear that in mind when it comes against cross rides, by the way. I will be making a video on how to counter cross rides once I've got more info on, once I've learned a bit more about them, about how to counter them. I do have a few ideas I could share already, it's just I don't know whether or not it's going to be enough at the moment. And then the last card, one that I did get quite a lot of people asking why I use, is Luquier herself. She's underestimated, in my opinion. A lot of people seem to underestimate her a lot. She gains 3k whenever you swap from whenever you bring something out of the soul. I don't see why people don't like Luquier, because yeah, it's a counter blast 3 limit break 4, but from what I've been telling people since Nationals, it's not about the limit break. Yeah, the limit break's good, and if you pull it off, then yeah, go for it, you know, but it's not all about the limit break. The main issue with her is her 3k, because there's a loop by using Trapezist and 2 Trapezists and Guild Across the Gap,